This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Mentioning the name of the Tana Aleki, Rabbi Yisroel Abuchatzeira, it gives us trepidation and great reverence. The Baba Sali, who lived from 1889, he was born in Risani. Risani is a region in Taflilat. And he passed away in 1984 here in Netivot. Netivot, how did the Baba Sali get to Netivot? Well, in 1964, the Baba Sali decided to make the official move to Eretz Yisrael. It was not his first trip to Eretz Yisrael, but it was the official decision to come to Eretz Yisrael. And interestingly, the Baba Sali originally went to Yavne. Why did he go to Yavne? Yavne was the home of one of his relatives, and originally that's where the Baba Sali began his career in the city of his son-in-law, Rabbi Abuchatzeira, who is the son of his brother, Rabbi Abuchatzeira. However, after a short while, the Baba Sali decided to move out of Yavne immediately because of a certain incident. What happened was, an Avreich, a Chashav Talmid Chacham, came to the Baba Sali, and he said, Baba Sali, we had great leaders in Klal Yisrael. We had the Vilna Gaon and we had the Baal Shem Tov, but I want to tell you the main difference between the Gaon and the Baal Shem Tov. He said, you see, the Gaon was Yored La'omka Shahalacha. The Gaon was Yored. He plumbed the depth of every detail of halacha, while the Baal Shem Tov did not reach that madrega. And the Baba Sali got so upset, chas v'sham, for somebody to speak badly about the Or Shivas Yimei Bereshis, the Baal Shem Tov. He said, we can't live in a city like this. And therefore the Baba Sali immediately left Yavne, and ultimately he accepted the post in Netivot, where he spent the rest of his life. Of course, Baba Sali was known to be a great Baal Moifes, so when the mikvah was built, and it was the middle of Tammuz, and in Eretz Yisrael, especially in the Negev, it doesn't rain in Tammuz. So the Baba Sali, after the mikvah was built, he went out and he said, Ribbonu shel Olam, Asinu kirtzainecha, we did in accordance with your will. Please, aseh leman shimcha hagadol. And the people standing around, they looked up at the sky, and the clouds clustered, and the rain filled up the mikvah. But then the Baba Sali realized that the marzev, the gutter, was not in accordance with the shita of the Beis Yehuda, which is a chumrah. It's not absolutely mandatory that chumrah be observed. And he commanded the people to empty out the contents of the mikvah in Chodesh Tammuz. They said, Rebbi, Loi b'chol eita misrachish nisa, miracles don't happen all the time. He said, no, you have to empty out the mikvah. And they emptied out the mikvah, whereupon the Baba Sali was mispalel again. Ribbonu shel Olam, Loi l'chvoidi asisi, I didn't do this for my kavod, but rather kedei laharbois tahara b'Yisroel. And sure enough, again, the clouds clustered and the mikvah was filled a second time. But it is said more than the great moifsim that the Baba Sali was able to perform was the wonder of his personal conduct, the hasmada that he had, the amelus and tefillah. From the time of his youth, he would awaken very early in the morning to go to the mikvah. He felt himself as the spiritual heir of his great-grandfather, the Abir Yaakov. In fact, it was said about him, Darach koichav miyakov v'kam shevet b'Yisroel. Rabbi Yisroel Abuchatzeira, we're in Netivot, Makam Menuchasai, Zechusai Yagin Aleinu.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.